Right, hello ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Kino and 68 Cent for their 1v1 in the first round for the bracket. Alright, just showing the stream around as I do, and I've hit the wrong button because I have slightly old fingers. If my phone could work a little bit quicker. There we go. Grab this. My phone's real slow. Did let Kino know to just give me a minute. Time is a ticking as I share it round. And then I will be fully attentive on the action the next hour or so. There we go. Stunt Racing Global. Double elimination. There we go, they are, I believe, about to launch. We are on the way in. I'll be with you guys in the YouTube chat in just a moment or two. Got one or two more places I can share this into. And we are on Green Machine. This is Kino's pick. Kino's picks are Green Machine, East Coast, Splits and Pirace. 68 cents are H200, City, Air, Maze, Bank and Plummet 2. Kino just swinging into the lead after the first corner down that little straight. Heads into the tube, nice and smooth. We do flip back to my man, 68 cent. Nice smooth line through the loop, not losing any more time to Kino. Really good boost down the slant. Does gain a little bit more extra time back. Let me pull this up as we go. Alright, hello Leo, my man. We've got Stefan Weber with a Let's Go and Holy. I hope you're all doing very well. 68 cent, a little bit of a slide on the wood as he struggles to control the D8. Cornering, it's a slightly, well, I say slightly, a lot slippier, a lot more slippy than the Emirates and the Krieger. But it does have that higher top speed through the tubes. Has lost a little bit more time, having hit that barrier a little bit hard and missing the boost as the D8 struggled to straighten itself back up into that line he wanted. Kino taking full advantage of it, nice crisp lines ahead, has just pulled away, already going through the right hand corner, nice and smooth from 68 cent, just brushing the barrier really clean. Don't know how 68 cent took the lead there in between the checkpoints for a second, but Kino does still hold the lead. Good luck being offered out from Tyrese. I hope you're doing really well, my man. Hope you enjoy your FIFA this evening. And I'll catch you in the party a little bit later. And my man Nacho enters the chat too. Here to support Kino, I'm sure. Fellow ride member. And Nacho, man, congratulations on that recent world record last week. After your break, you were just warming back up as well, weren't you, lad? So do make sure to head over to Nacho's channel. Go show him a little bit of support on the uploads as they come in, showing that we want him back in the GTA when he has the time. We are going to go apply some of that pressure. No worries, Nacho. Apply some of that pressure to Kino, as 68 Cent did catch a really nice thick brake boost into the tube. Kino just waiting for that engine note to dip, and then we'll start to hear the proper engine notes. The D8 sounding a little bit like an electric car here, maybe made by Tesla. It should happen after he slams on the brakes. There we go. Engine note kicking back into life. And these keep getting copyright struck at the moment. Well, copyright claimed. I don't really mind. I'm not in it for the money. So the radio can stay on at the moment. But I'm going to have to figure out a way, because it doesn't let me. Oh, I can. After. I think I can just turn music down in game again, like I did before. That will work. But again, hello to all of you watching. Thank you for swinging by. I know you've all seen Kino in these situations before. Seems to just be getting himself back into the swing of it nicely. Nice smooth lines from Kino. Knowing exactly how far and how hard he can push at any moment. Nice transition on to the first higher platform, coming through the boost after clicking a little extra bit of curb on the right side of the track. Lovely line, nice height over it too, making sure no chance of getting any clip. Not going for the brake boosters yet. Maybe not feeling the need. Hey Leighton, my man, hope you're doing really well. Let me see Kino taking that final loop, just extending it out towards the end, trying to maximise the revs. Morning to you, new boys. Hope you're doing well, my man. A 230.216 from Kino, 231.702 behind from 68 Cent. Comes on through that loop. Good line again. Pulls through, back round, and it's all looking nicely nice. Comes through the corner set, really nice and tidy. Pulls round, gets straightened up for the jump, clipping the curb. Leighton believing it's an easy win for Kino. Kino is a very strong 1v1er. Made it to quarterfinals, semi-finals in my time. He has a lot of experience, so he is a big threat to anybody. And this is 68 Cent's first time, so maybe just a touch nervous. But he is a quick lad. But there isn't really any doubting Kino's qualities among that top bracket of racers. You expect to see him go quite far in the competition. And whatever does happen, as long as 68 Cent puts in some times close to and around his PBs, I'm sure he is going to be somewhat happy. Exactly, he is a rapid boy as well. That's just what I'm getting at. It's just there's just that slight little level up to Kino at the moment, just that little bit of extra experience, knowledge of the cars, the tracks, and see, taking the loops really nice and slow, and then he just speeds it up to flick past the wall. Does lose connection with the tube towards, yeah, It is. I get nervous for the commentary and then the 1v1s especially, because I do feel like my strength is in the commentary. See Kino with the Space Monkey t-shirt being rocked, really nice. We'll have a little look at the times as they pop up. Got 2:30.216. 68 cent was unable to improve, but the 31.702 is nothing to shy away from. It's a really good time, and it is really difficult to start pushing into that 30 and then below. There is no getting beyond that. Really, as you learn the lines, it does become a lot more consistent and easy to maintain it. Just you have to get them thick boost lines through the tubes. Make sure through that snaky, essy bend before the jump, you have to get that right, and then you have to get your loop lines right. You have to get your 3 loops through the tubes good. Yeah, his Leighton's drip. He was up against yeah, good luck, Cyrod, and anybody wanting to pop over quickly, send Cyrod some love. Keep your eye a bit on both. Cyrod will be showing off some high quality racing lines. Yeah, Cyrod was up against Strip last night, and Cyrod went through. Cyrod stepped in for Scar, with Scar being unwell. We see Maze Bank. This is 68 cents choice, H200, City Air, Plummet 2 are the others. Could be in the city, I'll just double check that. Good, clean tube. The first corner from both, but Kino really maximising speed. Hello, Mobbin, hope you're doing really well. Let me very quickly double check this PlayStation message. It's 68 cent into the tube, nice and tidy. It's really good and clean so far, but he is losing some time to the track knowledge of Kino, just maximising the boost through the tubes and allowing himself to pull away. See Kino just pulling wide onto the right side of the track, clipping the curbs aggressively. .68 cent does get a little bit squiggly after the overpass. We are going to head over to Kino and again allow 68 cent to just settle into things just a touch. I am now back in my YouTube chat. I am going to focus a little bit on the action for the race, and then I'll be back in chat as I do when the time comes. Heavy on the brakes by Kino into the corner, controlling the GTO, really nice. Swings into the corner after a little dab of the brake, clipping at the curbs nice and aggressively. Getting the line right, deciding to go to the left. Did look like he was maybe going to go for that narrow, tight right line between the lamppost and the start line and the barrier. A little bit floaty there from Kino. A little bit of a glide. He has been doing, I've seen him doing some bike streams of late. He has had some world records on the bikes too. So maybe putting a little bit of that knowledge. I'm joking, it is the lag. Yep, the triple dab is a legal manoeuvre. It's when you get into the quadruple dab, you're hitting dangerous territory. Could cause yourself some serious injury, so we have to rule that out for the sake of our athletes. Kino, again, nice and smooth, just pushing to the edge of the track. Again, just nice, smooth, pushing just as hard as he needs to maintain the lead and slightly extend. Kino gets the underpass smash, but hung up strangely didn't actually see any particles come out of the front of the car, but maybe that was just a slight lag. It looked like he was going in quite smoothly and a tad aggressive, but it did look like it was going to go in smooth, but just got hung up on the lip of the tube. And maybe the damage on the GTO, he's handled that well, caused the car to flip out, but caught and corrected the spin mid-air nicely and managed to get the back end to pull itself back round. Now, careful there, Drip. You may cause some serious damage to yourself and others around you. Imagine you poke somebody in the eye while your eyes are in your other arm's elbow. How would you feel? Or imagine you break your nose on your forearm. Like, we have to limit it for the safety to 4. Any more than that, you're asking for some serious consequences. Good dabber brake into the corner. It's like 68 cents, made it through the tube cut nicely. We are, after the tube, going to flick back to 68 cent, see how it comes together, and commentate on him through the final tube set. Yeah. Nice clean lines, you can hear clipping of the tube, really nice stuff. Oh god, and we've got 3-step guidelines in the UK now. I think a single dab's against our most extreme COVID measures as Kino passes by just ahead of 68 cent at the crossover point. Again, just showing the distance that is between them. Takes roughly... Oh, really unlucky. Hung up on the barrier. I am not going to take this opportunity to swap that back, though. We are going to stick with 68, let him settle into it, get used to the commentary, and settle down and let himself relax. It's all good, my man. We know it's your first time. And the opponent you've got for your first, it's like when I came up against Mobbin. I believe Mobbin, it may have actually been Fernie, may have been my first 1v1, and still I'd say I was just as nervous. Kino clearly having had a bit of an error with the exit from the tube, maybe clipping the pin. 68 cent has made it round back end of the track a little bit roughly, but he's nice and safe, no chance of DNFing. Hits the last lamppost, maybe a touch out of frustration. I think the dab is now showing us how we're all supposed to cough, because you're supposed to cough into your elbow and stuff, aren't you? So, oh god, Big Bad Boris is your dad. No wonder you're so annoying. I'm joking. 1:54.048 is the best lap from Kino, 1:58.061. Yeah. No, that's what I thought you were getting at, is it just maybe triggered it properly in my head there, official. It is at the moment, Nacho. If anybody else steps aside, then you will get a first shout. You are now the next reserve. Can't think of any other option because this one is full. But yeah. But like I say, if any spots do become available, Nacho, you are now the first person that's let themselves. I've been doing it first come first serve. He's now the first reserve, so all my other reserves have gone into the tournament. I'm not pushing anyone else aside, I promise. There's none of that going on. Nacho's getting no favouritism. He is being told tournament's full. 68 Cent with a really nice start, got nice and aggressive across the curves, a little bit too aggressive over that second jump though, that has allowed Kino into the lead. There's a lot of water there for 68 Cent that wasn't there for Kino, and he's gone in a little bit too aggressively to the wall ride. It's good and clean through. Nice into the tube. Just going to have a swig of my hot chocolatey coffee. It's nice and high up on that banked blue platform. You can see though, Kino, that's, I believe, one of the first times we've seen Kino chasing the brake boost. Didn't quite get the timing right, but it is good to see him getting himself back up to full speed. Again, like a lot of the top racers and a lot of members of the community, and that is a lovely strong brake boost at the top of the straight by Kino. Taking a little bit of a relax from GTA Stunt Racing, and it will see the timing need just a little bit of a refresh. And Kino, I do know, has become a lot more tied up with work since Italy is coming out of lockdown slightly. Nice entry into the wall ride, able to sit on the wood nicely, uses the barrier to straighten himself up. We see 68 Cent coming across the jump just ahead of Kino as he enters it. It's really good and clean. God, if there are any faster tortilla chips behind the wheel, that is a nightmare. Kino nice and smooth through that sector, maintained the high revs over onto the curbs, chases the brake boost, catches it before the platform, really nice, slides the car through the corner and uses the barrier to straighten up, catches the brake boost on this occasion, really nice, pulls down to the track, out of the tube, pulls down to the centre, making sure there's no bucking from the GTO. It's nice and smooth. Let's have a quick look at the times as they come in. 1:30 was the first lap, down to a 1:29, showing that there is almost a 15-second gap between the two. After the wall ride, we will flick over to my man 68 Cent, see how things are going for my man. Pulls out really well, no big slide this time from Kino. Handled really well, nice and smooth. This was 68 Cent's second track choice. 68 Cent water doesn't appear to be detrimental this time. Into the wall ride, nice and clean. Out, really nice and smooth. Barely any air time on the transition off the wall. The score is 2-0 to Kino, with Kino having the lead here. Sick. Pulls out the tube, just feathers the throttle, making sure there's no bucking up or getting wrapped up in the gap in the barrier, making sure he gets down to the track nice and early, and not a problem, my man. Over the jump, into the barrier and across the curbs, catching the brake boost before the jump, really nice and smooth. Brushing the barrier nice and clean, maybe just a slight graze on the GTO, making sure it gets down to the tube wall just before the end of the tube. And there we go, mobbing, offering sick, a little bit of Warzone. Through a corner nicely. Have you guys downloaded PUBG? Oh, if it's the free game for you on PSN as well. I'll jump on PUBG with you at some point. I prefer that to Warzone myself. Kino does take it to 3-0, 129.056, does stay the best lap. 68 cent though, bringing that time right down to a 31.472. It is 2 seconds a lap quicker than my PB back when I was sweating it out. Really trying to improve my PBs, and that is a full 9 seconds off the world record, my time. Tell her to call you back later, Leighton. And a couple of our guys have got it unholy, a couple have pre-ordered it. Hey, Ventura. And nice, sick. Get that downloaded and we'll have a catch up on PUBG at some point. I know you're not on GTA too much and it's been a while. Alright, let me have a quick look through my chat before beginning of this, make sure I've not missed anybody. Sick asked for the score, and a yo sick as well. I did not give you that as I think I might have done, as I said, the score. I don't think I've missed anybody in chat. If there is anybody new watching or who doesn't speak too often, do feel free to get chatting. We are on to Plummet 2. This is 68 cents, third pick. See, using it a little bit to his advantage, holding the lead nicely. You know, maybe having missed a couple of brake boosts, but now taking the lead with good aggressive curbs through the corner. The kink, the chicane. It was less of a corner than a little jink. Feathering the throttle really nicely. Kino sticking to the left side of the track. 68 cent going to this left side of the track that more and more have been going for them brake boosts. Chooses to avoid the second, goes with the third, getting the squeal of the tyre, which is signifying he's getting a percentage of it, but not all, so he won't be losing all of the time he would just by getting the brakes. You can see he has gained some time down the hill, and you can see he's cut that a little bit finer than Kino, kept it a little bit straight, and that will have shortened the gap by a couple of tenths maybe. Through down the straight, really nice, over the curbs, clipping that little corner cut out as well, really nice, and heads towards the middle of the bridge, giving himself the highest amount of room to get underneath. Kino though is pulling away, signifying he has collected a couple of the brake boosts. We are going to sit here with 68 cent, we can see both. It allows us to keep with the action. Kino maintains the speed ahead, again maybe having gained just ever so slightly. 68 cent ever so smooth behind though, so not suggesting he's losing time to like bad lines, nothing like that. It's just the extra little bit of rev control through some of the corners from Kino maybe allows him to carry a little bit more corner speed, and then maybe catching a couple of extra brake boosts as his fingers fully get warmed back up. And see Kino just extends the jump out ever so slightly, tilting the car back. Comes through the corner, just here feathering at the throttle at the last moment just to avoid the gap in the barrier. See Kino though still ahead, pulling through the straight and through a final left hand corner. It's nice from both. Kino though, you can clearly see is getting the brake boost down the straight. 68 cent just missing them ever so slightly and maybe holding the brake a touch too long after two. But the speed at the final portion of the straight, you can see Kino's flown a long way, landed into the blue. 68 cent a little bit further back, and hey my man Elias, I believe it is, but it's definitely one of my guys from PC. I believe you are my barcode friend. I hope you're doing really well. This is where I learn my line guy off these guys. Commentating on them, and then I try and do them on PC and get faster lines than I can get on PlayStation because it's better, it's easier to play. Well, it's not easier, it's just the control works better, like the frames make it a lot better to play. But yeah, Elias is a very fast young lad on PC, very polite in the chats, and he'd be very welcome if he did come across to PlayStation at some point. We are on to Pier Race. This is Kino's pick. We have split at East Coast from Kino left, and we have City Air. Yeah, he's in my slow crew. He rubs shoulders with a couple of the world record holders on PC like I do here on PlayStation. And Sick, my man, good luck with work. And like I say, we'll have to have a little catch up on PUBG at some point. Get me, you, Jack, and somebody else in a trio. Tyrese. A trio, a squad. 68 cent, I believe, did just miss the mid-drive boost, and that allows Kino to fly on past, having gained good portion of the initial start boost. See Kino pulling the nose up. So 68 cent got really good distance over that jump, clearing the boost almost, catching the boost with the back tyres, and that would have reduced a lot of the issue with bricking. Took a really nice corner, and that does see him swing into the lead. Kino, really nice corner from Kino there though, clipping the curb nice and aggressively just as he got the car straightened up, and that did help maximise his revs. The car from Kino does just slide out. We are going to head over to 68. Watch this tube exit from him. It's nice and clean, nice and straight. The front left just scraping along the ground. And good luck to both offered from Pretty Beads. How are you going, lucky lady? I hope you're doing really well. Nice to see you commenting in chat again. It's always nice to see my familiar faces and crewmates, community members coming into the chat. 68 cent, nice and smooth. You can see Kino does appear to have made up some of that lost ground, so after this tube we will swap back, see how the land lies. It's a nice clean tube exit from 68 cent, cuts a lot of the height out of the standard transition. You see Kino though really not too far behind after a couple of clean tubes. Back through the line. We're going to have times of a 1:54.806 on the first lap from 68 cent, 1:56.385 with that huge slide in the beginning of the tube. Nice landing on the boost from both again. No issues with bricking from neither of the drivers here today. Kino runs a little bit wide, pulls through the corner, really nice on the exit, grabbing the curbs. Again, really nice and aggressive. See that little extra squiggle over the curves, trying to get a little bit extra of it, maybe trying to get that back wheel to transition over it, nice and smooth into the tube this time though. No chance of the same issue happening. Hello, my man Tunter, I hope you're doing really well. Hope your exams tomorrow or Thursday and throughout the rest of the week go okay. As Kino does just pull ahead through the tube exit, you can see 68 cents was a little bit higher further to left. Kino down to the ground really nice and early as we come through the high speed-ish corner. Nicely on to the barrier and over the curbs. You can see 68 cent chasing the brake boost again before the tube down the straight. 68 cent still uses a line a lot of us have now adapted from as Kino hits the platform. It was a lovely exit though from 68 cent. Oh, Kino going a little bit too low, maybe chasing a really nice time. He had pulled away a little bit further from 68 cent, a little bit further. He'd already started falling after hitting the platform as 68 cent exit exited and Kino came into view. So if he'd have got that exit as low as he'd have wanted, it'd have been a phenomenal exit. A 1:52.908 is now the best lap from our man 68 Cent. Kino unable to improve with hitting the platform. Unfortunately, my man Lance, hope you're doing really well, and I will make sure I get that friends request on Social Club accepted a little bit later tonight when I log on to my PC. I find it all a little bit easier on my PC than the phone. Phone's a little bit clunky for Social Club, loads a little bit slow on my mobile. Nice and smooth. 68 Cent, nice and clean, takes the widest entry into the loop so he can maximise his drift to the right out towards the centre. Now, I believe Kino did have to respawn again there. I am going to just stick with 68 Cent for the end of this race, and at the end, right, I'll swap over just at the end, so I'm going to quickly try and just stop the music so it doesn't come up in the future anymore as an issue. I do actually quite like the music, and when I'm streaming from my laptop I do now do copyright free music from time to time. You can see 68 Cent is about to bring it back to 4-1. And that is 68 Cent across the line. Oh, I turned it down a bit, that's a start. And it seems like this car is hard plastic, which means that hard polythene tends to contain straight and unpurified molecules. This car is obviously not plastic. It is a 4-1 unholy, I believe. And just in case you're just in the chat a little bit more rather than able to hear, we'll quickly give that a little type in. But again, I do and I want to stress that this is 68 Cent's first 1v1 tournament. This is also no worries, my man Mobbing, thank you for swinging around. Ask you a question about recycling plastics. Why can't certain plastics be recycled, Tuncer? I'd like to know that. What is it that stops certain plastics with that PFP or whatever it is in the UK being recycled? Like we have to send all that, we end up sending all that stuff to other countries to be dealt with. But yeah, Mobbing, it's always a pleasure to see you, my dude. Kino, nice and smooth, pulling away. A strong lead from the beginning, catching, must have caught some of the mid-drive boost and potentially got himself short shift along the way. Gets himself nice distance over the jump from both, and Kino swings through the corner at really good speed. Oh, 68 Cent, really tight to the edge of the track. I believe the back left wheel did drift over. He collects the checkpoint. Oh my god. 68 Cent, really unlucky. The checkpoint registered really late, just as he slammed down onto the track. But unfortunately, he'd already slammed on the brakes to try and reverse back to the checkpoint. we'll spend a lap and a half with 68 Cent here, let him settle into all this new thing a little bit more, get used to the commentary, see some nice crisp clean lines, a little bit aggressive on the entry to the corner and a slide on the exit. The track does need really good feathering of the throttle and the water as well. Right, okay, maybe Kino fails the wall ride ahead. Maybe just held up a little bit just to make sure that the water wasn't the cause of anything there. As 68 Cent does just pull ahead. We can swing back to Kino, keeping the action fully in line. You can see that nice tight line. Kino took at the exit, getting himself across that right side of the track. Nice and early too. As Kino pulls back into the lead. Carries that. You can see the speed and the boost he's carrying through the jump, through the tube. Again, that slight extra knowledge avoids the loop on the final part. You can see 68 Cent does just gain at the end there, but Kino mastering the throttle control on that final corner carries really, really good speed. Tuncer is a very, very smart lad. In his spare time, he built us our bot for Discord. Nice and smooth into the tube ahead from Kino. Didn't look like there was any issue with the tube roof. Same from 68 Cent. Nice high onto that banked wall of the tube, allowing the car to naturally drift back down and round to the right. Through water showing on our screen, but not as heavy there on 68 Cent. You can see him flying through it. A little bit safe around the corner, can maybe carry a little bit more speed running round to the edge of the track. A little bit more, but not quite having the knowledge of track, not being a track with a strong wig. Does just drift a little bit too far to the right. We are going to swap over to Kino. See Kino again flying through the tube to 16.102 with the, I believe it was a failed wall ride on the first lap. Good and clean through that section, clips the curbs, nice and aggressive, clipping as much of it as he can. We see that time come down to a 201.924, really shaving some good time off it. 68 Cent, I imagine, will still improve. It'd take him a little second to respawn. 215.214, showing there is going to be 16, 17 seconds, maybe 18 between the two, and you can see Kino again. Oh, I was about to say, really nice and clean. Controls the slide though, and gets back on it again. That's the way it's supposed to be. You use it while you use it, and then as you work out what you need and what you don't need, you can push certain things aside and rely on the bits you do need. Otherwise, your brain becomes a bit too cluttered. It's harder to find things unless you're a super genius, and to be fair, you could be somewhat on the way to that, lad. Wouldn't be overly surprised. Nice, smooth, slow loop through the tube. You see Kino coming into the wall ride, just had the throttle slightly before the entrance, just to swing into line for it. Perfect, you can see him feathering the throttle, again going in for the wall ride, brushing on the wood. Oh, the slide causes the car to head off to the right side of the track. That does see 68 Cent shortening the gap, just coming up into the jump, into the corner. You can see how flat he takes that loop through the tube, trying to maximise the boost and then allow himself to drift down between the two walls. Kino doing as much as he needs to secure the win here. 2:01.924 is going to stay the best lap. 6:28.9 with a couple of mistakes. Really, still not a bad time. Not a bad time at all. 68 cent with the failed wall ride is going to be almost 20 seconds behind, so at 42, maybe 43. Again, not the worst given a couple of mistakes on the stunt portions. Fantastic stuff from the guys. Great to see Kino going for the cuts, really warming back into the stuff, and it's really good to see 68 cent also warming into the situation. Hopefully this first 1v1 will help him in the losers bracket. He shouldn't quite be coming up against an opponent of Kino's level for a little while. We are on Kino's choice, and that is split. See the club being selected. Hopefully there'll be no issue for either driver with it. You know, it can sometimes bug out. I'm going to go back to Kino. Nice orange on the car. A little bit reminiscent of Bruffy's. Oh. Nice aggression across the catch. You can see 68 cent being able to take that starting position line, taking advantage of the extra curb you can grab. You know, nice slow loop, high up on transition, just drifting down and back, up and down for the exit. Extends out the jump, 68 cent just ahead. Nice and tight through the corner, clipping the curbs. You can see 68 cent pulling away just a touch, but Kino's extra little bit of curbs here and there, just reining it back in, maintaining the high revs, clears the blue, just overtakes 68 cent into the tube, pulls away a little bit of a lead. See him just standing out, nice smooth line out of the tube by both. Good and clean. The lines smooth. Kino just getting a touch more boost out of the tube line, just extending the loops out ever so slightly more. Though Kino has come into contact with the spinner prop that has allowed 68 cent a strong lead as he comes across the line with a 1:32.343 on the first lap, giving him a strong chance to bring this back to 6-2. And it is really good to see again the guys carrying on in the same vein, not letting the fact that the result is decided affect their racing. Just trying to be as smooth and as fast as possible over the curbs, nice and aggressive, use the barrier to just straighten them out and help flip the car back round, not needing to use and lose the revs from the car. Maintaining his lead, good aggression over the curbs, got all four wheels across before the tube. That'll give him good revs to clear the blue there, nice line. Exited really well onto the black platform, no issue with spinning out, flicks into this red tube, line popularised and found again by Esco. To give him a little shout there, that is See My Build. You can do head over and check out. Man, it's been a little while since we've seen him on the tracks. just show him a little bit of support here and there if he's got a cup of tea as a streamer and racer. Oh, 68 cent heavy into the barrier. That is going to see this lead shorten significantly. He will be losing around the same time. Oh, he just gets hung up in a portion of one of the cranes, and that does allow Kino to take the lead. He would have lost just a little bit less time with losing the traction of the roof after hitting the prop, as Kino did. That has allowed Kino the strong lead in this situation now. Given his experience of handling the pressure, you'd kind of put your money on him securing it from this point. Nice, all four wheels across the curb before the little bit of extra wall on the bridge there. Pulls back down for the exit for the tube. Swings through, nice, early onto the platform. Didn't feel he quite had the speed maybe to flick across, and the spinner not playing nice with its positioning. Flicks down to the track. 68 cent really not too far behind. We are going to flick back as Kino goes through his second to last loop. Kino looks to have made it through nice and clean. No issue with the barrier. Round the corner, 68 cent not too far behind at all though. See the best lap of 1:26.320. Only a couple of seconds off that world record time there from Kino. Phenomenal stuff. See if 68 cent was able to manage any more improvement there. It looked like a clean end. He didn't seem to have lost a lot of time behind Kino. Though there was that crash into the train at the beginning. 31.570 does stay 68 cents best lap for 33.246 from Kino. Really, really lovely stuff. We are about to head into the final race. I believe the boys will carry on. The result has already been decided. I said 6-2 earlier, I meant 5-2. It is 6-1 in Kino's favour, with City Air being the final race. This is 68 cents choice, and I do just want to repeat and affirm that coming up against and losing to a racer of Kino's level and quality is nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed of. Remember, this is your first time. This is God knows what time this is for Kino. He's been in 3 tournaments that I know of, 2 that I've commentated on, 3 now with this one. See, 68 cent just holding the lead ahead of Kino. Kino though using the wider entrance into this corner though to carry a little bit more speed through it. Catches the brake boost, and that is allowing him to pull ahead. Maximum revs over the jump, just maybe feather the throttle to make sure he didn't come into contact with the overpass. Looping through the tube before the exit, both nice and low. Kino exceptionally so, with a tap of the horn of appreciation from 68 cent there. Kino honks back a thank you. Appreciated it being noticed. We'll remove this head. Kino a little bit roughshod on the barrier, got 2 wheels kicked up off the wood, handled it really nicely. You can see the checkpoint triggering really late for 68 cent, like he caught some of that brake boost at the top of the hill there. Nice extra aggressive bit of curbs there, just let the car drift over the track slowly and then pulled it back nice and aggressive, just to get that extra curb boosting effect. Very risky, but it's holding good pace behind Kino. Kino not pulling away as much as we've seen before. Really low exit there from Kino though, and he's flying away. It's a really nice exit as well by 68 Cent. Carried really good speed, took a lot of that height out from the standard exit. Swings to the right lightly, making sure he comes into contact with the slanted tube wall. Kino, I believe, will be going for the ramp skip. He's missed it though. 68 Cent makes it across nice and clean. That is going to hand the advantage his way. We are going to stay for around half a lap here after the start line with 68 Cent to catch the first tube and the second tube transition, and we'll swap across, see where things are for Kino. Nice and smooth into the braking point. Could maybe do to just pull a little bit more sharp to the left as he dabs that brake. Nice brake boosting though this time. Again, just letting the car drift, giving himself a little bit of extra wiggle room with that platform above, or the trap piece. It's not just a platform, is it? It's a nice smooth exit there from 68 Cent. Let's have a little swing round of the camera so you can catch a little bit. Kino, not quite, a bit too far back. He comes through the transition tube really, really nice. Stuck to the tube wall and then pulled himself through the loop. Nice and cleanly. Again, pulling down through the tube, getting towards the centre, making sure, big kick up again, just treating the GTO as a motorbike, just a touch. Extends out the jump, lands just past the checkpoint, clipping the curbs, nice and aggressive. Hey, my man, Albo, hope you're doing really well. Kino clips the curbs, really nice and aggressive, clips the little corner part of the track as the track extends out a little bit more, cuts across nice and aggressive. Didn't had maybe just a touch too much speed there to get any extra curb boost, and in fact the car just glided across the gap on the right side of the car, and again it's a lovely low exit. You could hear the slight feathering of the throttle before the exit across the corner, cutting it really nicely and through the stop strips really quickly. You could see it just flicking down. Comes on through, just clips. Tried the character switch to save himself, but the car not quite in the right position, and that is a place you are allowed to use the character switch. You're not allowed to really use it to gain time advantage, but you can attempt it to try and save yourself heading off the track. Hey Jake, how you going, fella? And Albo again. I hope you're both doing really well, being the two newest in the stream. It is allowed sick in this competition. It is allowed for saving yourself, not for loop skipping and such like that. No time gaining, just to try and save yourself in certain situations like that. I know some people, like I saw it in Esco's tournament, like mobbing, really struggled with it a couple of times. First time, had to reprimand him ever so slightly, and then the second time he respawned as soon as he went for it. So I know it's built into some of the races, so I've put some adjustments in there to make it as open for all, but so it's not gaining time advantage over people that don't use it. You can hear a little honk of the horn from 68 Cent, just helping the car slow down a touch more before he hit that barrier a little bit too heavily. We are going to swing back to Kino, closing the gap. The score is 6-1 in Kino's favour. This is the final track, and as I do keep reaffirming, it is no mean feat coming up against Kino as your first opponent in these 1v1 situations. Collects the checkpoint really nicely. Good exit. Oh, just unable to control the bounce of the GTO. That is going to allow 68 Cent a little bit of breathing space, but that was it was so close to being really clean there from Kino. It looked nice and clean, looked like he was going to use the barrier to help straighten himself up. Oh, and that was a flat bit of the barrier there that caused that issue there for Kino. The nose just clipping into it, maybe the slight bit of damage. Give me 1 minute, I'll finish this race, Albo, and then we'll do a bit of conversation before I wrap the stream up. Kino swings into it, he's going to get it nice and clean this time. He's going to undercut 68 Cent. In a final cut. 68 Cent with no response after needing the respawn. And again, I do hope that 68 Cent doesn't find himself beating himself up too much. He's coming up against an opponent of Kino's caliber in your first 1v1 competition situation is no easy task. Kino, with a lot of experience, and as much as a lot of the top racers have been taking a bit of a rest, it really does not take them to get back up to really good speed. 217.987 from 68 Cent is the best lap with 7:22. GG's offered by Sick, and 68 Cent, you do still have your second life and a full chance to get through to the actual final in the losers bracket, and you shouldn't, I'll double check in a minute who your next opponent is for you, but it shouldn't be someone quite Kino's level. That is the whole point of this sort of thingy. So okay, so your opponent, it's not an easy opponent, 68 Cent, but it's not quite Kino either. It is Ciccolini. Ciccolini is a good racer. Max Wine and Weed did require the penalty shootout. So your opponent in the losers bracket, 68 Cent, will be Ciccolini, and like I say, is not quite the level of Kino. That isn't, again, I'm really not trying to put Ciccolini down in saying that. It's just there are the top racers and then the rest of us trying to catch up below, and there's slightly differing levels between us as well. Hey, thank you, Pretty Beads. I'm glad it is appreciated, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I find the racing more exhausting. I'm glad that these guys are happy to let me commentate on them and learn some of the lines a little bit quicker. Kino flying off into the night on his Mark II oppressor. Now, a little bit of conversation for Albo. Albo, my day has been lovely, mate. Been playing a little bit of FIFA, chatting with Jack and Tyrese and Official. Congratulations offered to both from Pretty Beads. Congrats, Kino, GG, 68 Cent. Great job, Fox. Thank you, new boys. It has been a fantastic evening. Thank you all very much for tuning in. My next 1v1, let me have a look at my thingy that is booked in at the moment, is, for now, it's booked in for Friday the 9th, 8:30 p.m, Luke versus Bocchia. And then on Saturday, I do have a head-to-head battle, 7:30 till 11, so I won't be able to commentate between them times for the 1v1. It's a crew battle, RCRH versus Krem. That will be very intense racing. And then on Sunday, Azzy versus Trilsey at 7 p.m. Lord Life as well. I know you need to get your match arranged with oh my god, Tyson. Stumbling over my mouth there completely. And if there's nothing going on that by Thursday, I'll instigate a little bit more authority and start pushing for a time and a date on that. I will give you a shout if anything opens up. Obviously, Nacho, you are now my number one. Well, you are my only reserve, so you are the number one first reserve. And thank you all so much for tuning in. I will catch you all in the next stream. I will post it everywhere if it comes up before, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you all, and goodbye.